Welcome to Coffee Conversations with Les and Paul, Revelation Edition.
A podcast sponsored by Piedmont Road Church of Christ and Ministry League.
We're here to discuss the book of Revelation, just as if we were asking Jesus himself. I am Paul Sperlin.
And I am Les Sandifer.
What did you just do?
I just messed up the
You're
intro.
so excited.
I am
the
so
excitement
excited.
is killing us. We should keep doing it, though.
Yeah. We hope you will enjoy our relaxed Bible-based discussions.
Thanks for joining us as we think about and talk about all those things we'd ask Jesus over a cup of coffee.
Wow.
That's awesome.
We start our new Revelation edition, and we started out with a bang.
We did.
Well, there's nothing wrong with a bang.
Are we doing this?
Yeah, we're doing this.
Okay.
We've talked about it for months.
Because we kind of went through the middle of it and it kind of hit something, but it's like, wait, this is okay though. Because
Oh, you're
this
talking
is
about the intro.
Yeah.
Oh, you're talking about messing up the intro. I thought you were talking about we're doing the Revelation.
Oh, we're definitely doing Revelation.
Yeah.
No, I'm talking about the intro itself. So we're live. We're doing
live.
this.
Yeah,
Okay,
we're-
good. Because we've done that same intro
Yep.
for 25 episodes on the other show.
Yeah, and a couple of you kind of know this because I've talked to you about it if you're, regular listener of the podcast.
Regular listener.
So you know that we do that intro every single time live when we record. It's not an
Every
edited
time.
thing later.
Yeah.
It makes it easier for the process we go through. So
It
this,
kind of gets us excited though.
and this kind of just sets the stage for letting you know that it is organic
Oh, absolutely.
as we go through it. So
Yeah, we definitely want y'all to know that.
So this is a teaser podcast, if you will. It's a introductory thing just to tell you we're doing a separate podcast about the book of Revelation.
Right. But for those of you that see Revelation and think, I want to listen to the show, please know there is another show through Ministry League and our good folks here at Piedmont Road sponsor that. And that's basically the Dream of Jesus type of podcast through Coffee Conversations.
That's right. Yep.
And so, like I said, 25 episodes. It's out there. You can go to the Ministry League app. You can go to Spotify, iTunes, and start listening to that. It's a completely different experience.
That's right.
Than what this is about. This is about the book of Revelation.
Very focused on that one topic.
Absolutely.
And that's what we're going to do. Now, today is really just setting the stage for that. The next episode that drops after this one on the book of Revelation, we will get into it.
Mm-hmm.
We get into the substance of it. In fact, that lesson will start with a little history and perspective. Today is really just more to give you a flavor for the show.
Yeah,
a
just
flavor for the Revelation.
get ready for the parking spot.
It is
This is where we go.
Revelation.
It is the Revelation.
It is not multiples.
No, it's not first and second Revelations.
If you have a Bible that has an S on the end of that word at the beginning,
Get a new one.
Get a new one. Because it's the editors were wrong.
They were.
It is a single revelation from the Godhead given to John and on and on and on,
Absolutely.
with lots of cool information in there. And we're going to talk about all sorts of things in here, right? We're going to talk about a scroll. We're going to talk about the seals on the scroll.
Talk about the way you said that almost sounded like a song.
I could
The
write a
seals
song.
on the scroll go round and
Not that song.
not that song. We're also going to talk about bowls.
Bowls?
And
What kind of bowls?
all those things. You think of bowls, I think of cereal because I had my Fruit Loops this morning, so I'm good to go.
It's a fair analogy. You
It
had
is.
Fruit Loops?
I did have Fruit Loops. Yeah,
Are
Tyler.
you Fruit Loops or Apple Jacks?
Oh, I'm all Apple Jacks, but we didn't have any Apple Jacks, and all that was left was Tyler's Fruit Loops. So-
Well, you got to do what you got to do.
and it's interesting how he opens up a box because he completely obliterates and disintegrates that thing. It looks awful.
So I made a comment to one of my relatives' people, and
Okay.
and I said, I like cereal as a dessert. And what do you eat? Oh, I'm like Raisin Bran. They're like, oh,
Yeah.
Raisin Bran's not a dessert.
No.
It has to be sugary.
Yeah.
I went,
Like Frosted Flakes.
Yeah, Frosted Flakes or
Yeah.
Fruit Loops.
Fruit Loops. Yeah, that's a thing.
So
I love
anyway,
that.
we put those cereals in a bowl with milk.
Yeah.
And this is conceptually probably not too far afield, at least in the visual of what we're talking about. But when we talk about the bowls of
funny.
Revelation,
It's a different kind of stuff on the inside of that bowl.
there's something different in the bowls.
Yeah, nobody wants that bowl.
And then, of course, there's the trumpets in the middle. You and I were talking before we came on the air that one way to look at that breakdown of those three. So when you go through Revelation's got a lot, and we'll talk about this in one of the podcasts, has a lot of numbers.
Oh, yeah.
So
Oh,
you'll
yeah.
see a lot of symbology that goes with it. It is important, and we'll dig down on this, but it is important at a high level to understand that when you're looking at the book of Revelation, the language that it uses and the importance of numbers don't ring as true to us as they did to the audience that was reading it, the Hebrew audience that was reading it.
Right.
Had a different meaning to them, and I won't give away the whole farm there, but
Yeah.
that's something we'll talk about. But in general, you got 3 sections. Once you get into that material, which starts in chapter 6,
Right.
once you get into that material, you got the seals that are broken. Those are one segment. You've got the trumpets that are blown. That's a different segment. And then you got the bowls of wrath that are poured out.
You do.
And relative to the bowls, I think it's a good point you make.
Right.
To think about them literally as a bowl that God is pouring.
He pouring stuff out
I'm actually doing that with my hand
is.
while Paul and I are talking.
like the air quotes, but a bowl.
You can't actually see it, but just imagine somebody holding a bowl and tipping it over.
Absolutely. One thing too to keep in mind too when it comes to the book of Revelation, we'll be in Revelation for the most part, but we'll spend a little time in Ezekiel. We'll spend some time in Matthew chapters 24 and 25. We'll be in some of Paul's stuff, Daniel. So we're going to be all over the place. But it's safe to say, if you stick with us, we'll be together for about a year. I think we'll be together for about a year.
Yeah, I think it's
at least.
It's going to take a while.
Yeah,
to go through the material. I mean, it's just
this will be exhaustive, not exhausting, exhaustive, because we want to make sure and get every possible point. We want to make sure all the true stuff.
Yep.
A lot of mentioning of the Lord coming quickly and things happening, especially when you get to Matthew 24, 25. One thing you need to understand is the travesty that occurs, that is mentioned and talks about in Jerusalem. That is Jerusalem.
That's right.
That is not some big unveiling that's all it's going to get. No, we're talking about what happened locally in Jerusalem. And so that's I know that's probably a point for a show.
No, it's a great point, because when we look at Matthew chapter 24, you necessarily have to talk about the division in Matthew chapter 24 and the 2 pieces of the puzzle. There's Jerusalem and there's the end of the world,
the time,
if you will. Yeah. And those both pieces are discussed, but they're not intertwined. Jesus answered 2 questions that were asked of him. One of them was about the destruction of Jerusalem. One of them was about the end of time. He answered both those questions, but for whatever reason, the religious world wants to put those together like somehow that whole thing is about one topic, and it is not.
Right.
It is not about one topic.
That's a good point.
We'll talk a little bit about Daniel, too, and its relationship to Revelation. There's a very specific point, and I'm going to tease you and not tell you, a very specific point to be made about language that's used at the end of the book of Daniel, where Daniel is told to seal it up until the time of the end or the end of time. There's a phrase in there that varies depending on the translation you read, but it's a very important thing to understand. I've always said that the book of Revelation and book of Daniel are tied together a little bit like Luke and Acts are tied together.
Oh.
Acts is part 2 of Luke, if you will. It's a continuation somewhat. Daniel and Revelation have a similar relationship, because in the book of Daniel, he talks about the 4
horsemen.
No, sorry, no, not the 4 horsemen. The 4 kingdoms.
Okay.
He talks about the 4 kingdoms, the 4th of which was Revelation. The book of Revelation is the entirety of, sorry, not Revelation. It was Rome. It was the Roman Empire was the 4th.
Gotcha.
I'm getting myself discombobulated. But anyway, those are the kinds of things we're going to talk about.
One thing, too, you need to understand as the listener is we're not going to take from any movie that's been made, any book written by man.
No.
Those things do not matter. And please, please do not make that your authority in what you do. Oh, I saw a movie. It was about the end of time.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, that's pretty dumb. Don't do that. We're using the Bible. And
books
only the Bible.
written by men.
Yeah.
I mean, you can use commentaries as a resource, but in the end, the Bible defines. And if what you're reading doesn't cognitively line up with the Bible, you need to
Exactly. And we're kind of following a mantra of if the Bible doesn't say it, we don't do it.
Right.
The Lord gives us a pretty good pattern on how to live life, and we're going to let the Bible be the guide. And that's definitely something that we are excited about and excited about sharing.
Yeah, especially when we get to 666. We're going to let the Bible guide us as to what those 3 numbers might mean, and a little history perspective on
versus of what the Antichrist really is.
Oh, and what everybody says about
whatever they think it is. Yeah.
Did you know Iron Maiden used 2 verses from the Book of Revelation in a song?
I was aware that some of our hair bands of the 70s and 80s did acute themselves towards the Revelation.
I used to be
persuasion.
able to quote those 2 verses exactly the way the narrator did at the beginning of that song. I'll try to reinvent that when we get there.
Oh, that'd be good.
And we can do it. It was a human number.
Oh,
Its number was 666. And then into the song.
That sounds like a Halloween song.
Well, some of those bands that have the...
That's true. They have
the hair bands that had the imagery that they were trying to...
This is not your 80s rock station, just so you know.
It is not your 80s rock station, nor do I promote the idea that, that should...
That's funny.
That should be the thing you listen to. But, back in the day in our youth, I listened to a variety of things that
it's a good thing.
I probably wouldn't listen to today.
There's a lot of speculation, a lot of things that the world has given out and has shown about the Book of Revelation that we really don't really care about. Because that's not the authority that we follow. That's not what we're going to be doing. But we do want to make sure that you get every little bit. My whole life, and everybody, our whole life, we're all about, how come nobody ever talks about Revelation? How come nobody ever teaches a class? Well, let me just say this. If you're living in our area, come visit us on Wednesday nights, because we're going to
talk about it
every Wednesday night. So all this starting September, the 12th, September 12th.
And you and I both have a passion for this subject.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So it's not
to say the least.
It's not like it's something we don't chat about here and there. I find that most people on the subject matter really just kind of get lost in the apocalyptic language, the imagery that goes on in there, and it becomes the defining source, especially because the world takes it completely out of context and makes it become something else.
Yeah.
And really, here's the thing. I've said it as long as I've ever taught this class. It is the greatest pep talk ever written. That's my mantra for this.
I like it.
And you will find that as you go through it, it doesn't have to have all of this otherworldly stuff. It was written to a certain group of people, which we'll talk about, and it was intended to give them hope.
Right.
And that's the end.
That's good.
Oh, and by the way, I'm just going to spoil the whole book. We win.
Oh, my word. You went there at the beginning. We hadn't even started yet. That is my thing, though. When I preach a lot, and I go places, especially this summer, I'm in somewhere different every Wednesday. I'll talk about that. I do that whole, do you like reading books? I like reading books. That back page is something you read, and I'm like, but I read the last chapter. Because if the good guys don't win, I don't want to spend my time.
No, if it doesn't hurt my feelings to know how it ends.
Exactly.
Because then I can settle in and enjoy it more knowing the good guy wins.
But the fact is, the world, man, they think Revelation, we'll find some new stuff.
Yeah.
We'll get some new insight into things. I'm like, that has been here for 2,000 years. Where have you been?
What did Solomon say? There's nothing new under the sun.
Nothing new under the sun. Vanity and vanity. All the vanities.
So that's the teaser.
I guess so.
That's it. We hope you're excited. We hope you're hyped.
Yeah.
And it won't be long. We'll drop a podcast and we'll get this party started.
And as you're listening to us, let's just do a little ask for prayers here.
Yes,
we're actually overseas. We are conducting the Ministry Experience in Scotland.
Yes,
in Mayport, Scotland, about an hour from Glasgow. If you want to look it up on your map,
that's right.
And so a lot of good folks from Scotland, all across the nation, coming to that one location for a church rally, to encourage the congregation. And so Les and I will be there, and you'll see, we'll drop some videos of us being over there and doing some things with some other folks there that were there with us for Ministry League. And so really excited, again, thanks to Piedmont Road and Ministry League for letting that happen.
Right.
And for the show. Yeah. And listen to the other show on Tuesday afternoons at 1 o'clock.
That's right.
We're still there.
And then this one on Fridays.
And this one on Fridays.
And we'll be good to go.
And that's it. For Les Sandifer, I'm Paul Sperlin. This has been Revelation Edition, the very first episode. We're so excited. Listen to the show. Listen to
Please
the show.
come back.
Come back and be with us. We can't wait to be with you over that next cup of coffee.